Hey, welcome to Silvertainment. My name is Fulano. In this video, we'll be making a zigzag jig. Zigzag is a filigree technique that consists of strands of silver wire that are around 0.35 to 0.25 millimeter in thickness. There are a few things we will need to gather. The first and most important part of this project are the brass gears. I purchased these RC car gears from Amazon. The number of teeth alter the pattern slightly. Feel free to experiment, as having multiple patterns is never a bad idea. To hold the jig together, we need a piece of copper and a drill bit of equal size. If you own a riveting tool, you can skip the copper pin and use a rivet. We will also need a drill bit, a transfer punch, and a steel pin that is the same size as our gearboard. The steel pin is necessary for our shaft. I'm using UHMW as a spacer, however a piece of wood works better since it's easier to work with. It is crucial for the spacer to match the thickness of the gear. The side plates can be made using a copper sheet. This one has a thickness of 0.50 thousandths of an inch. I purchased mine from a local Hobby Lobby for around $10. Any sturdy material will work. Just keep in mind that the side plates are the bushings and hold everything together when choosing a material. For the first step, we cut two squares measuring 1.5 by 1.5 inches from our copper sheet with a jeweler saw. Now that the plates are cut, we transfer our side plates onto the spacer and mark a line down the middle, where we will be cutting the spacer in half. We also draw a circle as we need to cut half a circle on each piece for our gears to sit in place. Now that the spacers are done, we put them aside and return to the side plates. Here I have marked a cross for a reference point. We then center the gear on the vertical line with the teeth touching the horizontal line and transfer our center mark with our transfer punch. The best way to drill our pieces is by clamping them together and drilling both plates at the same time. After drilling the plates, we can take the gear and shaft pin and insert them into place so we can align the second gear and transfer punch the center. Make sure that the gears do not touch as shown in the video, as it will damage the wires. Instead, we need a small gap for the jig to crimp the wire into a zigzag pattern. Once the gap is set, we will transfer punch the second mark and drill both plates. Next, we cut a piece off the steel pin for the shaft. We will keep one long as it will be the handle. Once cut, we will sand them to remove any rust or oil they might have. Once the shafts are clean, we will apply flux and solder the gears on. I will use hard silver solder in a wire form. When soldering, I will focus most of the heat on the shaft so my gears don't melt. Once the solder flows, we will let the parts air cool. Meanwhile the parts cool down, I will drill the 4 corners of my side plate. Once the parts have cooled down, I clean them with a steel brush. If everything looks okay and we are satisfied, we will begin to assemble the jig. It is important that the gears are straight and everything is square so the jig doesn't bind up. We will slide the spacers on and clamp the jig together. I drilled my pieces off camera as I didn't think it would matter. I later regret that decision. In drilling the spacers, drill the first hole and insert a copper pin. Before drilling the next one, we will make sure everything still turns freely. If everything feels good, we then proceed to drilling the second hole and insert a second pin. Repeat this process till all 4 pins are in. This way we can make any corrections if needed. We will then batter the copper pins over with a ball peen hammer. Here I heat the handle and bend it into shape. There's many ways to approach the handle. A washer with a file groove will also work, or a T-handle. UHMW is wear resistant. I had a hard time sanding it down to the thickness of my gear. Instead, I put a piece of copper tubing to make up for the small gap. You shouldn't need to add anything, but if you do run into this issue, we can always fix it. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe and click on the notification for future projects.